This is the local Sears in my town, and it is closing, as you can see. What happened to this company? A little bit of the history of Sears is that it was born in 1893. It was founded by Richard Sears, and Richard Sears started selling watches in the late 19th century, and then he created the mail order business where he would sell products through the mail. Eventually, he did create the catalog where people would order their products, and he was able to sell cheap through volume and sell to rural America. Um, and this was in its time, it was something that he was doing revolutionized the sales industry, and he was able to make a lot of money and profits and grow the company. Um, at the turn of the century, Sears kept growing its catalog business, and we all seen those catalogs that Sears has from back in the day, where people could order a lot of products that they needed: clothing, farm tools, uh, the buggies for the horses, things like that. It's not until the 1920s that Sears actually begins getting into the stores, the actual brick and mortar stores. Um, and also in the 1920s, they go through a rough period where sales drop. Um, a major competitor of them during this time is Montgomery Ward, and they are able to surpass Montgomery Ward in growth and sales. Um, and by the 1960s, Sears is one of the largest corporations in the country. They are a powerhouse at that time. They're doing very well. In 1972, a lot of people, I think it was like more than half of Americans have a Sears credit card. And it's just a very well-known company where people shop. It's powerful at the time. In the late 70s, they run into another bump in the road, and sales fall again. They have to, rethink strategy and fight competitors, and so that's what they do. In the 1980s, they have to reinvent themselves and see how they're going to fight off the competitions. So the 1980s, they were, having to fight and struggle to keep up with the competitors. The 1990s was also a tough period for them, but they're still doing well. Finally, they declare bankruptcy I believe it's the early 2000s. Um, that's when Eddie Lampert, the hedge fund manager from New York, who was formerly at Goldman Sachs, comes into the picture. He runs ESL Investments, a hedge fund in New York, and he's able to buy Kmart Holdings, and through Kmart Holdings, he's able to purchase Sears Holdings as well. He combines Kmart and Sears in 2005. Um, after that, Sears tries to, pick up sales revenue. They're not successful. There's still a lot of competition. And what happens is that they start to sell assets to keep afloat. Eddie Lampert is quickly finding out that the retail business is a very difficult business to be in. And eventually, they're selling their brands. Recently, I think like 2 years ago, they sold Craftsman, Kenmore, to other companies, and now it's to the point where they're just closing stores. Uh, you know, back in the 20s, back in the 60s, this was a powerful company that was not able to keep up with its competitors. Uh, there's competitors in the 20th century like Walmart that came into the picture that slowly started taking some of their some of their customers and shares from the company. I mean, as far as competition started killing them. The legendary leadership of Sears were, of course, Richard Sears and Julius Rosenwald and General Robert Wood as well. But with the advent of online purchases and Amazon, of course, that also did not help Sears. Eddie Lampert did try to do something where he introduced the Shop Your Way Sears, where I guess you would earn points for every purchase you made. But this did not work out. Eventually, he has to sell assets to just, again, stay afloat. And it wasn't, it was very difficult for them to compete. And now, in the last maybe 10, 15 years, you also have the dollar stores that come into the picture, and this just hurt Sears a lot more. Last year here in my local town, the local Kmart closed, and then right now, at the time of the making of this video, in January of 2020, the Sears at my local mall is closing. Hey guys, so I would like to read you excerpts from two articles that I have. One of them is from the Wall Street Journal, dated May 24th, 2013. And the other one is from the New York Times, dated March 1st of 2013. And these articles, they just show, what the struggles for Sears, especially towards the end. This is both from the year 2013. They were pretty much losing a lot of money. So here's just a little bit of the article. This is the first one from the Wall Street Journal. Sears Holdings Corp. swung to a fiscal first quarter loss from a profit a year earlier when the retailer booked a large gain on asset sales. Revenue also weakened in the latest period. Sears shares were down 12% to $51.31 in after-hours trading on Thursday. The retailer in late 2011 rolled out plans to sell a handful of stores and close more than 100 others in hopes of reversing a year-long stretch of declining same-store sales. The company has partially spun off Sears Canada and completed the separation of its hometown and outlet businesses. So as you can see, guys, this is from the Wall Street Journal. They're just selling assets. They're just trying to stay alive. Nothing seems to be working. According to the article as well. By the way, the title of the article is Sears turns in a loss as revenue falls. Wall Street Journal, May 24th, 2013. Analysts said that they are skeptical because of the emphasis on technology. They were skeptical that the emphasis on technology, which Eddie Lampert was a proponent of, could help Sears become profitable because most of the company's sales, according to the analysts, come from the brick and mortar stores, which were hurting. So it was just a really bad time for them, especially towards the end. This is just 2013, one of the years. The next article is titled Sears Slows But Does Not Reverse Its 6-Year Descent. In this article, I found it interesting that they quoted Eddie Lampert as saying, we are living in a hyper-connected world. Consumers want what they want, when they want it, and where they want it on their own terms. To win the game, we have to change the game.